it's Sam and I'm back with another video for lawnfawn. Today I'm making a slimline card using the new Critters in the Desert, Year 10, a bug deal, just that little grass patch, fancy wavy banners, stitched hillside banners, slimline scallop portrait hearts, and the new stencil that was just released as well. I am starting by coloring all of my images with Zig Clean Color Wheel Brush markers. I am using green, May green, and yellow green for all of the cactus images. I am not showing me coloring every single cactus, but I am showing how I color one of each style of cactus. And I love how lawnfawn has various cactus images throughout their sets. There's the Year 10, which is a little bit, I want to say cuter than these cactus, but hear me out. Only in the sense that it's a little bit plumpier. It kind of is more rounded. These new cactuses are perfect, and I love them. I love that there's two different sizes, and that let's, for lack of a better word, call them arms are on different sides, and I love them. They're perfect, but I also like mixing it with this little plump cactus from Year 10, and then there's the cactus that was released with the porcupine. There's just a bunch that you can mix and match to really create your little desert scene. I drew an X in the pot because the pot is not going to be shown in my card. I'm going to actually put this cactus in a pile of dirt that we stamped from a bug deal. So I just drew an X there because I did. So that's all the cactus is. Just, as always, I start with my darkest shade, then I use my medium shade to pull it out. Then I go back with my, dark and then medium, and then, till the color is blended the way that I like it. I also saved some space for the highlight of the images by not coloring in that area, because there was a big part in the middle barrel of the cactuses. I'm using deep brown and mustard for the dirt pile surrounding the cactus, and then I also brought in this natural beige because I just couldn't get it to blend as well as I wanted it to in that last little pile. And I'm thinking, what can I color next? And I decided to not use traditional colors for any of these images. The cactuses are as close as it gets to real color. I'm using pink, pale orange, and natural beige to color these little tumbleweeds. And this is like one of my favorite color combinations because it's such a contrast from the darkest color, which is pink, to the lightest color, which is that natural beige. And I really think it is like a warm, bright, happy pink. And fun fact, when I lived in Washington State, there were literal tumbleweeds that would roll past our house. And I used to think it was just for cartoons, but it was not. There was actual tumbleweeds going past my window. I would sit and look out my office window and there would be a tumbleweed. I'm showing I used turquoise green and light blue to color the speech bubble. The speech bubble doesn't actually make it onto the card, but I am saving it because it's adorable. It says meep meep, which is like the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. So I'm keeping it and I'll use it on a different card. I decided to keep in my theme of not coloring things traditionally by using blues and purples to color my Roadrunner. And the blues that I used, I didn't show them yet, but I think I will. Yeah, here we go. Are Persian blue and light blue. And then I'm going to use purple, violet, and lilac to color the wing and the tail. And I just think a blue and purple Roadrunner is adorable. I might color all of mine this color forever. And then I decided instead of a bright orange jarring beak to go with a gray beak. So I am using two grays, which is so tiny, I don't know why I did, but I'm using platinum brown and light gray to color in the beak. I also use these same colors to color in, dare I say, a cute scorpion image. Not a fan of scorpions in real life, but this is pretty cute. And so I am just using the darkest shade to add the contrast and then using my lighter marker to pull it out. Of course, I'm adding blush to all of their cheeks, which I am using pale orange and light carmine. I'm using that same color combination for all of the cheeks on the images, as well as the ears on that little cute, I want to say fennec fox. I'm using mustard and mustard and natural beige to color in this cute critter who is my new favorite, and I must have it. I want one. Again, I'm using the same blush colors that I used for the cheeks as for the ears. And next up, I'm going to color the snake in yellows. Again, mustard, yellow, and lemon yellow. I'm using the darkest shade where I want the shadows. Then I'm going to use the medium shade to pull it out and blend it in. And I'm using the lightest shade, hello, cat. She was very interested in this card. I'm using the lightest shade to add the color and then my water brush to pull it all out. Next, I'm just showing you that I used the Slimline frame, scallop frame from the Scallop Slimline Portrait Heart set to die cut the base, and then I die cut 3 hills with the stitched hillside borders, used washi tape on the backs to place where I wanted them to be on my scene, and then die cut that whole thing out again with the same scalloped frame. And that is how I know that my pieces are going to line up perfectly when I go to put this card together, and it'll have that nice edge like the rest of the card. Of course, here I am ink blending. I'm going to be ink blending for a while, so let's sit back and relax and enjoy this show. I am only using 2 colors for the hills. I'm using Fossilized Amber and Vintage Photo for all 3 little hills. It's a little splotchy, but that's okay because I'm smushing the same ink colors onto my craft mat and using water and some white acrylic ink. And I'm just going to use my paintbrush and splatter on all of the colors, the yellows all over, the darker brown all over, the white all over. And the more water you add to your paintbrush when you mix it in with the color, the more diluted that color will be. So I wanted the browns to kind of stand out, so I didn't use a ton of water for the brown part. Next, I'm moving on to ink blending the sky. And I am doing Blueprint Sketch, Mermaid Lagoon, peacock feathers, salvage patina, black soot, wilted violet, my typical sky colors, so I could get a contrast. When I was using my Blueprint Sketch, I didn't think it was dark enough towards the top, so that's why I brought in that tiny bit of black soot, and then I wiped it up real quick so it wouldn't contaminate any of the other blues. And I am just literally going back and forth along all the ink blending. So the Blueprint Sketch was first, and then I did Mermaid Lagoon. I did Mermaid Lagoon over the Blueprint Sketch, then a little bit down. Then I did Peacock Feathers over the Mermaid Lagoon, and then a little bit down, and so forth and so on. And that just builds the color and completely makes it saturated. Next, I'm using the same colors over the stencil, but with more pressure, so that it's a little bit darker. I don't use black soot again, but I bring in wilted violet this time. And then a little bit of Blueprint Sketch over the Mermaid Lagoon over the Peacock Feathers, and so forth. And that brings this like really bold, stunning contrast, which I thought was perfect for a desert scene because, you know, I imagine deserts are windy. I don't know if they are, but that's how I imagine them. And so I thought this would kind of illustrate that. And I'm just doing the same thing I did for the ground, except for no color, just the white. So it looked a little bit like night sky. And this is essentially what the card will look like. I am going to pop up all of the critters. So the fox, the scorpion, the snake, the bird, they all get popped up with foam tape. Everything else is glued down to the card base directly. And I didn't use all the images that I colored, but I got close, so I was pretty proud of myself. And I love how these, even though they're not the true colors of nature, you would not go to the desert and see these. I love how they are so happy and bright, and I feel like it just makes you smile to look at the card. So, okay, I'm attaching my hills to my card front. And now you can see that cactus is floating, but don't worry, I have a plan. I'm going to put the rocks in front of it, and then a little tumbleweed. Can't forget the tumbleweed. And a little bit of rock in front to cover any more gaps. And then I'm going to pop up my little foxy guy on top. He's my favorite. And I decided to alter this cactus image. I just cut off one of the arms, used my white gel pen to color in the side so you couldn't see, and then cut off the bottom and tucked it under one of the hills. So my scene is now all put together. Now I just need the sentiment, and I'm using a piece of black licorice cardstock that I die cut, and the sentiment, you desert the best. And by dessert, I mean desert. You desert the best. And I'm just going to heat emboss that in white onto the black licorice cardstock. And then once that's all heat embossed, I am popping it up with foam tape as well. And I bet you thought that would be the end of my card. But my friends, I decided to get a little bit wacky. As you can see, I had some images to the side that I didn't use and I really wanted to. So once my sentiment was there, I thought, I'm just going to make a little cactus scene at the top of the sentiment too. So I'm using the year 10 cactus and I'm attaching it to the card. And then I'm going to put the little dirt pile underneath it, like the rest of the cactuses in the scene. And tuck in a little tumbleweed here. And that brings up all those fun colors to the top of the card too. And honestly, I think it makes the card. Next, I'm using dolphin cardstock, which is a beautiful color, and I'm making my slimline card base with it in my bone folder, and now I'm going to just attach the card to it, and it's done. So cute. I love it. Which critter is your favorite, and why? I want to know because I love them all. And I picked the fox, but that roadrunner is a close second. I hope you enjoyed making this card along with me, and be sure to check it out on the Lawnfawn blog. And have a great day. Bye!